Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly
rank
any dumber, you go and
rank
something like this and totally redeem yourself.
What is up? Welcome in. This is the Adjust the Ranks podcast. I am here with, of course, the one and only Derek Brown, who will introduce in a second. But just really quickly, we will introduce to you what we are doing today. It is the Superflex tight end premium 4-round rookie mock draft with one of the best in the business to do it. And before I continue to blow some unnecessary smoke up his butt, we're first going to start talking to you about what we're doing here at Adjust the Ranks in the fantasy football universe. Of course, throughout the month of March, we've had a bunch of amazing guests. As you can see here, Derek Brown not excluded. We've got Kevin Coleman on next week, and all through April and throughout the offseason, we're going to have plenty of guests in store for you. But the man of the hour today is the one and only Derek Brown of Fantasy Pros. Derek, how you doing? Welcome in, D-Bro. Are you ready?
Dude, born ready, been ready. Got caffeine at the ready. I'm ready to roll, dude. We're in the throes of like rookie season. All the hype and hope is all picking up before, our hearts and our souls are shattered by the NFL draft and how that, we still have hope that our 4th round, 5th round picks are going to find a landing spot and get a runway until the draft comes and one team takes like 3 running backs and you're like, oh man, come on, dude.
Dude, that was the New York Jets last year.
I know that's exactly the damn team that I thought. I was like, oh, Isaiah Davis, you're gone. Braylon Allen, you're gone. Forget it.
Ridiculous stuff. Oh. Absolutely. But here, of course, we have to know what's going on a little bit before the NFL draft so we can kind of use all the pieces of the puzzle. We've had the combine, we've had free agency, 90% of free agency to this point. So really nothing else is going to hit us harder than the NFL draft when these rookies finally land. Just as a matter of some appointment here, Jamie, sorry, we are full up today. But we always welcome you into the show. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And of course, you can join all of these mock drafts with us every single week here in the offseason. So, D-Bro, as we get started here, so we don't feel dumb and dumber, let's at least get ourselves, if we can get the screen correct. There we go. Let's at least get ourselves a situation here. So as we like to do on Adjust the Ranks, we always like to give ourselves some sort of context to what we're doing in a draft. Of course, a draft in a vacuum is what we're used to doing, but that's really not what we do in our real drafts, right? Only in mock drafts. So here I'm trying to eliminate the vacuum as much as possible, and we are going to kind of assign ourselves kind of a random team and just use it as a guide here in rookie drafts to figure out what we need to do. As I always like to ask, Derek, do you want to kick off here, or do you want to defer the spin of the wheel?
Defer, bro. I'm totally, I'm liquid.
That's always the way to go. Everyone chooses to defer, and to be fair, that is the correct answer. So my choice here will be a win now build. So here, pickerwheel.com, not a sponsor. So what we need to understand here is that I'm going with the win now build. That means that the team that I'm working with in Dynasty is basically all set. Yes, that sets me up for best player available, but at the same time, I'm probably going to want to choose a rookie or two here now that I think can contribute right away. Of course, without landing spots, this becomes a little bit more difficult, but that is what I am working with here. D-Bro, any final thoughts before we seal your fate here?
Nah, man. Go ahead. Drive the nail into the coffin, as it were. Yeah, it's all good.
All right. So similar situation to win now, except of course you want guys who you think are going to have that sustained long-term value, right? So when you think of guys in situations, maybe you want to, the two names that I like to compare, or I have been comparing all offseason, maybe you want to kind of eschew an RJ Harvey type, who I know you love for maybe more of more of the safety of what we perceive Devin Neal to be at this point in the draft. I'm not sure that D-Bro will be doing that, but certainly having the full rebuild in mind is the way that you're going to be going in this draft, if that works for you.
Yeah, that definitely works, man. And I think like I'll say this, not to ask you the thought exercise here and stuff like that. For me, like depending on the team and stuff like that, it's not changing probably the players that I'm drafting at all. It just kind of changes my attack mode on the draft. Like, and we're doing this in this thought exercise, but like for me, looking at one versus the other might be the difference between, me trading back, especially considering this rookie class. I want all the second round picks that I could get. So while I drew the 102 in this, like we're not doing trades and stuff like that, but approaching that from a rebuild standpoint, I'm probably trying to trade down from the 102 as opposed to like that heavily influencing, where I'm going in the draft as far as player takes and things like that.
Yep, 100%. And as we always like to talk about here, even though we are prescribing all of these draft builds going into it, you have to, as you mentioned at the top, D-Bro, be liquid and make sure that you're willing to pivot depending on how the board falls. That's always what we advocate for here at Adjust the Ranks. You know what Jamie is advocating for? You not to be picking at the beginning of the draft and picking at the end of the draft because they don't want to hear my takes. They want to hear your takes about the guys they should be taking at the 412 here.
Oh, dude. I mean, I don't care. I'll move around the entire draft board. Don't matter to me, man. I just grabbed 102 because I wanted to sit here and, give a nice love letter for TEP.
I love it.
But
I love it.
Outside of that, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me where I'm drafting.
Well, you got it. And I think I'll stick at the 112 because then you can absolutely tear apart all of my draft selections. So with that said, let's jump into it.
By the way, are you making picks here, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah. So I'm at the 112.
All right. Just making sure. So I'm just shouting out picks to you to sit here and punch in.
No worries. So you're here. So you're at the 102. We'll start it up now, guys. So if you are following along, please jump into the draft, and we have 60 seconds per pick. Again, 4 rounds of a Superflex tight end premium, full PPR, of course, mock draft. Here we go with the rookies, and D-Bro, you're coming up.
Let's go.
What are you thinking here? We assume Genty, but even if it is, what are your thoughts here at the 102? Tell us all about TEP McMillan.
I mean, it's TEP. It's TEP with the bullet for me. I'm sorry, man. Like I don't understand this goofiness that we've gotten ourselves into with people talking about Matthew Golden as the wide receiver 1 of this class. Like, I don't know how you make that choice or how you make that case, really, to be honest. TEP, I feel like everybody has gotten so wrapped up in their own damn narratives about how they don't like this wide receiver class. They want to shade it and stuff like that. Because tell me this, if this makes any sense to you, Jeremy. We comp TEP. A lot of people comp TEP to Drake London, and for good reason. And he was a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. But then they say, I don't know if he's worth the 102. I don't know if he's really going to go top 10 or he's worth going top 10. You got big talking heads in the NFL media talking about, well, there's never been a top 12 guy that's ran like over a 4 or 5 and stuff like that. All right, well, you kind of painting with that brush the way that you want to, because Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't run the 40. Drake London didn't run the 40, even though we're comping him to Drake London. But let's conveniently leave that out to sit there and paint our narrative. TEP McMillan is a plug-and-play ex-wide receiver. He is the wide receiver 1 of this class. Like, let's just not get stupid about this. So he is the easy pick for me at 102 here.
Love it. And I think, there we go. We got TEP in there. And I totally agree with you. Some people were disappointed with his recent Pro Day 40, which I think was, I don't know what the final was, but was it a 4.48 or was it like a 4.5? I saw conflicting reports of like a 4.5. What did he finally run in his Pro Day 40?
It was in the mid 4.5s. Like that's where I come down on it. Like I saw everything from the high 4.4s to like the mid 4.5s. To be honest, and again, going back to play silly games, win silly prizes. How many times are we going to do this shit? Like where a 40 time isn't fast enough. Like, are we going to continue to do this shit? Like every year, it's like, how many wide receiver 1s in the NFL run 4.5s, 4.6s? When you get out there on the NFL field, is there a big difference between 4.49 and 4.51, 4.52? No. So let's stop with all the craziness.
And then it's also about you got to watch the tape. You got to see what type of receiver it is. We were talking about this a little bit last year with you on the show about Xavier Worthy. They're like, oh, he's too fast. It's kind of like a Major League, that old movie where, he hits the home run and he's like, it's too high. It's too high. It's like, relax. Like, fast is a good thing if you can also be a wide receiver. Tet, maybe he's too slow. It doesn't matter. He's a wide receiver. He's proven everything he needs to prove. And we're kind of at this stage in the offseason, I think, where we're a little bit exhausted by the talk of these top guys. And we want to see if we can, move Bijan Robinson and cut him down a peg. We want to see if Garrett Wilson needs to drop to like the wide receiver 4 overall in his class, behind Treylon Burks. And we're doing all of these crazy things. I totally agree with you. Let's just kind of lock it in and say it's Tet by a bit here at wide receiver.
Are you punching in picks for me, Jeremy, on this? Because it looks like I'm in auto, but like I don't have the ability to pick for myself. So I don't know if I'm just hollering out picks to you.
You can, and I will do that. I'm not sure why you're on auto, but I think when we get there, we'll figure it out. Sometimes you got to dip out of the draft and come back in.
Okay.
But yeah, let me know how that goes. And let's talk about it here with what we have. We have Ashton Genty, we have Tet McMillan, or T-Mac, as he prefers to be called, not to be confused with Tracy McGrady, Omarion Hampton at the 103, Cam Ward at the 104, and Tyler Warren at the 105. This is a tight end premium, so these are almost chalk. With the exception of these 2 running backs that are coming off the board, Mecca Buka a little bit earlier. How are you feeling about the top 6, top 7 here, and how it fell at the beginning? Does that feel good for you at this point of time in the offseason?
I don't hate it. I'll say Emeka, it kind of depends on whether he goes round 1, round 2. I think he's probably falling into round 2 at this point of the draft cycle. I know some mocks still have him as a first round pick. Emeka is my wide receiver 3 in this class, so I don't have any problem in tier 2. So I don't have any problem with anybody going with him here. I'll say I'm a little bit surprised, and this is honestly just probably speaking more to the hate of the quarterbacks in this class, but like I'm a little bit surprised that considering a Superflex format, that Shedeur is still on the board and Jackson Dart is still on the board, because both of them are going in first round of the NFL draft. People have tried to run from it, hide from it, that Jackson Dart is going to go be a first round pick, but now you're seeing him in every mock as a first round pick, as he should have been the entire time. So the fact that both those quarterbacks in a Superflex format are still on the board at 108, 109, kind of surprises me. But I mean, I think that's a reality of how a lot of people's drafts are going to go, because people hate the quarterbacks in this class.
Yeah, agree with you there. And we see it every year. It seems like maybe not necessarily with Bo Nix, but certainly with Drake May. It took him a while throughout the offseason to climb up to where he ended up as the kind of 103, 104 consensus. It took Zach Wilson a while, although unfortunately for him to climb up into the first round. So I think it's probably a bit of it has to do with this stage of the draft. End of the offseason, and the fact that we don't have landing spots. Once Cam Ward goes, in the top 3, once Shedeur Sanders certainly probably goes in the top 5, let alone top 3. I think these guys will all climb up, and Jackson Dart has got to be a first round pick at this point in the NFL draft. Would you say?
Oh, dude, he's going somewhere in the first round. I mean, depending on what mocks you're looking at, my mock 1.0 comes out on Monday. I already tweeted this out, so I'm not really giving away too much here, but he's going 21st to the Pittsburgh Steelers for me.
Love it.
Which happens to line up with exactly where Daniel Jeremiah took him in his draft. And so, I mean, for me, him falling out of the first round of any Superflex rookie draft is absolute insanity to me. Like, even if you don't like him, man, like play the Bo Nix game of last year. Even if you don't like him,
for sure,
play the Michael Penix game of last year. Like, he's got first round draft capital, or he will attached to his name. So I can't understand him not going in the first round.
And I agree with you, but I'm going to take Colson Loveland just to play the game and see how far he falls. Well, there he goes at the 101. That's all right. I'll pause the draft.
I think you're going to have to make picks for me here, Jeremy.
No worries, man. So let's look at the first round.
It's definitely not Jalen Milroe. That is for damn sure.
No, not for you.
Hell no. Hell no.
Fourth round NFL draft.
That's one of those things that gets sent out like blink twice if you're in trouble. If you've been kidnapped, that's the tweet that comes out. from my account is Jalen Milroe is a first round pick or a second round pick in rookie drafts. That would be the tweet that would come from my account.
I love it. The back of the first round, we have Emeka Egbuka, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson at the 109. Interesting pick there. Not far off, but I think we all have an interesting, probably different number 5 running back when it's all said and done. Shadur Sanders at the 110, Burden at the 111. He's another one that people seem to be higher or lower on than the standard consensus. And Colston loved him to round it out. Do you want to talk about Caleb? Do you want to talk about Burden? Who do you want to
Caleb's
talk
a
about?
freaking stud, but the 2 guys that win the first round here that I am definitively out on, dude. I've got Luther Burden as my let me see here, just so I'm keeping it a buck for people. Luther Burden is my wide receiver 8 of this class. He's in my tier 4. I don't care that people can, he's going to go higher in every single rookie draft that I'm in. And people can go check out my full spiel. Brett Whitefield from Fantasy Points hopped on the Fantasy Pros NFL Draft Show. We talked about the top 10 wide receivers of this class, and both gave people the good word, or well, should I say the shade on Luther Burden, man. Just to encapsulate it really fast, his entire production profile is absolutely fraudulent. It's all screens. It's all gimmicky stuff. It is all schemed up stuff. If you're expecting every OC or any OC in the NFL, like, to do that for him, that's expecting a lot, dude. Like, he's not going to fall in every situation where they're going to craft up that type of plan. And if that's not the case, then Luther Burden's going to have some problems in the NFL, dude. Like, to say that he's got good movement skills, fine. I agree with you with that. Say that he is a good route runner is absolutely and unequivocally false. You can have good movement skills, and that does not make you a good route runner. Sorry, not reality. So Luther Burden, lower on him. And yeah, Quinshon Judkins, man. Like, I know everybody loves him. I get that he's like consensus RB, like a top 5 and RB in this class. And I don't understand that, Jeremy. Like, I really don't get it, man. Like I understand he tested good, but if I were to tell you, looking at his analytical profile, there's a running back in this class, Quinshon Judkins, that is ranked as a top 5 guy in this class, but yet this same running back over the last 2 years has ranked 121st and 82nd in yards after contact per attempt. He's ranked 41st and 128th in breakaway run rate, and he's outside the top 60 running backs in elusive rating. Is that a running back that should be in people's top 5?
Maybe not.
He's not a pass game weapon either. But please,
sure.
let's burn first round picks on overhyped running backs. So yeah, you could miss me with both those guys.
And if you watch the tape, and we know you do, for me, Trevion just pops. Trey pops, and Quinshon Judkins, his running mate,
Trey's a ball.
Does not pop the way that Trey does. So yeah, it's tough. So here, why don't you tell me who we're picking? We'll fire this back up, and then you can tell us why.
Well, this room has done messed up. They done messed up. They done messed around and found out. Trey Harris, easy. I would have taken Trey Harris as high as the 105 in this draft.
Excellent.
And not even blinked twice, because he's my wide receiver 2 in this class. The only wide receiver I have ranked over him is TEP McMillan. I freaking love Trey Harris, and I know that he's a polarizing player. I know that a lot of people are lower on him than me. I don't care. Like, I'm just following my process. Like, watch the film, you look at the analytics, and both of them tell me that Trey Harris is really freaking good at football, dude. Like, we're discussing, or at least I'm discussing, a wide receiver over the last 2 years that is ranked 1st in yards per route run, and 1st and 9th in yards per route run, 1st and 18th in yards per route run against man coverage, top 6 in PFF receiving grade both seasons. He's a great route runner. Again, going back to it, I don't give a crap. I don't care at all that he ran a 4.5. He's plenty fast. He gets open. He can create both after the catch and in separation as a route runner. Trey Harris is one of my flag plant players in this class, and one of the reasons that I think this class is not getting enough respect at wide receiver. He's going to put people on notice.
And just in terms of Trey Harris, maybe to put a bow on it, in terms of his separation ability, his route running, what do you see there that you like? Or is it more of just a contested catch, go up and get it sort of
He's a
situation?
damn good route runner, dude. Like he has that second level where he's playing 4D chess with dudes, like, and they're playing checkers. Like there's spots where you'll see, and anybody that watches enough film, like not every wide receiver is giving it the full all, putting out all the stops, putting moves on guys when the ball is not coming to them. And so a lot of these offenses, and especially Ole Miss, like a lot of like first read heavy kind of stuff. So wide receivers know the play design, like maybe on the second read or things break down, the ball comes to me. Trey Harris is a guy that he's still playing with corners' minds whenever the ball is not coming his direction. There's multiple times in games where you'll see him, whether it's threatening the vertical plane, threatening with a vertical push and stuff like that, where he'll double move a guy and the ball's not coming to him. And the corner's like, oh shit, like I got to respect this dude's speed. And then the next route or the next play, then he's running a hitch route. He snaps it off and leaves the cornerback flying by him. And he's like, ha ha, got your ass. And like that kind of stuff, like that pops on film, dude. Like you're setting corners up. You understand route running. You understand exploiting a corner's blind spot. Give me all of that with Trey Harris, dude.
Yeah, I love it. And, we see other names after Trey Harris go. We got Travis Hunter, who is the ultimate wild card at the moment. We got combine hero Matthew Golden. We've got Jalen Royals, who everybody seems to love at this point. We still got Jaden Higgins, who is sitting on the board. We got a lot of interesting wide receivers. How do you feel about the wide receivers here that were taken, and maybe Mason Taylor as well?
Bro, what are we doing here? Like Jalen Milroe, I'm kind of questioning the board here. Like Jalen Milroe going, like, let's keep this a buck here. Jalen Milroe is probably gonna be a third round pick in the NFL draft. If he goes that low, which I think he does, he ain't going in the first round. I'm sorry. Like, stop listening to talking heads out there in the NFL media. Like that shit's not happening. That ship has sailed. Okay, it's gone. It's sinking somewhere out into the abyss. It's stuck in the Bermuda Triangle. Like that ain't coming back. So Jalen Milroe, like quarterbacks in general, if they don't go in the top, like even if you want to throw it out there, like, okay, the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft, then they're going to be an outlier if they hit. Like if they're a multi-year starter, if they're going to be a guy that gets multiple chances in the NFL, even if they are a developmental guy. So I don't see that happening, man. Like, so so Jalen Milroe, you won't see me picking him in the top 2 rounds of any draft. Mason Taylor is a player that like I think is being dramatically overhyped. Like I see a solid addition to an NFL passing offense. I don't see an otherworldly athlete. And if you're telling me about tight end, that's the thing that most highly correlates to elite production at the tight end position, which is what we all should be shooting for if we're drafting tight ends in fantasy, is give me the athletic as hell player, because you go down the board and you just look at the fantasy points per game over the last few years, look at yards per route run against man coverage for tight ends, which you have to be super athletic to beat man coverage as a tight end and get targeted. Mason Taylor, that ain't it, man. Like he ain't got that part to his game. He's going to be a solid guy. That's a third or fourth option in an NFL passing attack. He's going to stay out there for all 3 downs. So yes, he can block. Yes, he can play all the snaps. That's not what I'm disputing here. But adding that second level, and there's a reason why the dude didn't go out there and test. It's because he's athletic, but he ain't that athletic. So I just don't see it with Mason Taylor. I think the fact that he's Jason Taylor's son is carrying a lot of water for him in NFL circles. Because even if you go to the analytical profile, it ain't there, dude. So Mason Taylor, the last 2 picks, not to just toss shade at people, but like, there's no way you're going to see me drafting a lot of those guys over Jaden Higgins. I think Tall, who at the 209 got an absolute freaking steal on Jaden Higgins here.
Love it. Love that there. We'll recap the rest of the second round. Debro, why don't you make your pick, and then we'll hit you up for details on it afterwards. You see that Cam Scatterbo went to 205, Royals 206, Milroe at the 207. We agree it's a little early. It's going to depend where he drafts, where he gets drafted in the NFL draft. But right now, agree, we're not seeing it. Mason Taylor 208, Higgins 209, DJ Giddens, who is incredibly athletic.
I
crazy,
love DJ Giddens.
Ridiculous here. And let me pause the draft. Did I get it? Yeah. Okay. And then Devin Neal and Alec Eomanor. Well, give me your pick. We'll plug it in, and then we
y'all done messed up. And I don't know if I can cuss on this show or not, Jeremy. But
do it.
Y'all done fucked up, man. Y'all let Jalen Noel fall to me in the 3rd round. Y'all fucked up and found out, man. Is he in here? By the way, he wasn't in Sleeper before, so is he not in here still? Is that why my man's...
Look at
there
this.
we go, Sleeper coming in. Yes. Let's go.
Awesome. Let's talk about it. We'll get to the 2nd round probably after the draft. Let's talk more about Jalen Noel. He's a massive riser. There's no way he goes in the 3rd round come draft.
My wide receiver 4 in this class. Easy. Top 5 wide receiver in this class. And yes, just for the people listening at home, yes, I do have him above Matthew Golden. And yes, I do have him above Luther Burden. The other take that I would like to toss out there, Jeremy, and I'm curious where you're at on this. Jalen Noel is who everybody wants Luther Burden to be. That just simply put, fast, can run routes, freaking awesome, has crushed every part of this process, and went out at the combine and put everybody on notice by testing like a damn mutant. So everybody, if you love Luther Burden, I direct you to Jalen Noel easily, every day, all day, 24/7. This is not the player that you want to seek. Go find Jalen Noel in your drafts.
No, I absolutely love it. And also looking at your build too, we have Tet, we have Trey, we have Jalen Noel. If you are someone who is completely rebuilding, you do want to rebuild around wide receivers and wide receivers that you think have a future in the league, of course, for years to come. Luther Burden, like you said, I agree, is probably a little bit more gimmicky than most of us want to believe, because we like I mentioned him earlier, the Treylon Burks, the athletic freaks. We love these guys.
How'd that work out?
Is if
Treylon.
Yeah, the problem is if they don't get into these Cliff Kingsbury offenses where their ADOT is negative, and that didn't work out for Rondale Moore either. Then they certainly struggle. Jalen Noel, I don't think is that guy at all. I think
didn't work out for 2
wide receivers.
Didn't work out for who is it? Andy Isabella. It don't work out, bro.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I agree with that. And no, I love your build here. The one thing I was thinking at the 112 with my 1st and 2nd round picks is if I am a team that is mostly complete, I want a 1st round NFL draft tight end to sit behind whoever I have. And Colton Loveland, I don't think he's getting past San Diego. A lot of people think a lot of people think he could go a lot earlier than that. We'll have to see if it's him or Tyler Warren is the 1st off the board. And then Alec Ayamanor, that guy's just a plug and play, ready to go wide receiver. I don't think we need a ton of development there. So
route chops for days, dude. Alec's good. I like Alec.
Yeah. So if we look at the 2nd round and into the 3rd round, let's just take a holistic approach. Debro, what are you seeing here? Is there anyone who you feel like we haven't mentioned yet is a supreme value, maybe end of the 2nd or in the 3rd?
RJ Harvey going in the 3rd. Oh, give it to me all day, every day. Here for it. So here for it. I mean, dude, and I'll just lead this off with everybody's favorite talking point about RJ Harvey. Yes, I know he's 24. No, I don't care. Because the fact of it is, dude, is like a 2 to 3 year window. Even like rebuilds, fine. Kick it out to 4. Fine, you just discussed his entire rookie contract. If a running back gets a really good 2nd deal, you should be happy. And 9 times out of 10, is that if you're really playing Dynasty, because this is the other part about context about this. If you're really playing Dynasty and you're really in active leagues, how many players after 4 years are still even on your damn roster? So what are we talking about here? He's 24. I don't freaking care. I don't care that he's going to be 28 at the end of his contract. That doesn't matter to me, because 9 times out of 10, either by that point, he has proven he is good enough for a 2nd contract, or he's off your team, or he's proven that he's not good. So either way, either the pick worked out for you and you kept him and he's still rocking along, or the pick didn't work out, you traded him away, or he's already dust. So why the hell are we so stuck on the fact that he's 24 freaking years old? I don't give a shit.
And the guy can move.
I mean, am I wrong here, Jeremy? Like, do you care that he's 24?
No, I don't. And I think, we're seeing a couple of different shifts in the dynasty landscape, and we need to adjust our perceptions here. One of them is size. We saw it first at the wide receiver position. Sometimes we take it a little too far and a little too small, but certainly we saw Tank Dell succeed. Before that, Devonta Smith, it was all about the size of his calves. Size, I think, it's important, but I don't think it's as important these days as we want it to be, especially with the NFL offenses a bit more spread, a bit more pass heavy. And then the second thing that we have to consider is that, these guys are older. We had COVID, we have NIL keeping them in schools. I mean, it's certainly just a situation where the game and the landscape of these rookies coming in is changing, and we need to adjust accordingly.
I emphatically agree. That's why, I've shifted also part of my process to where, I don't look at breakout ages and all that kind of stuff as much as I used to, because NIL and just the landscape of college football and players transferring and how that all looks, and we're still dealing with the fallout of COVID, like you're talking about, it's still part of the process. And it's dude, it's when it comes down to it, I care about your analytics, I care about your film.
Yep.
And we got to give context to a lot of different parts of pieces. Again, kind of talking about a different player in this process, which probably doesn't even get drafted in this, but everybody making their jokes about Tyler Shuck being 25 at the quarterback position. Why do you give a shit about that?
Right.
To be honest, why do you care? He's 25. If he's actually good and he pans out in the NFL, he's going to be a starter in the NFL until his mid-30s. And if he's not good, do you care that he's washed out and he's a backup and he's a forgotten player by the time he's 27? Does that matter to you? It shouldn't.
Yeah, that's fair. And especially in the third round and the fourth round, which I'll get into a little bit because I've been in the Reddit streets lately. So we'll talk about that after the draft.
That is a wild and dangerous place.
Especially when you're talking crap about late round running backs. So we'll get into it in a bit here after we finish the draft. But for now, give me your pick, and then we can talk about it in the fourth round here. Who do you want?
Can you do me a favor? Just scroll down just a little bit. I think I know who I'm going with, but
actually, 1 second.
Oh, I know who I'm going with. Give me Brashard Smith.
There we go. He was almost my pick as well.
That's my man's, dude. We're talking about where do I have Brashard Smith? I don't even know where consensus is at on him. I've got Brashard Smith is my RB9 in this class. Yeah. I love the kid. You talk about pass game weapons and pass game utility. I mean, and I know he's not the same size as all of these guys we've seen pan out recently, your Tyrone Tracy's, your Antonio Gibson's. He's not the same size, but a dude that is a pass game weapon. All I'm hoping for, I'm not expecting anything crazy with him. There's an archetype of running back in this class. I could sit and rattle off Brashard Smith, Marcus Yarns, Jaden Blue, all these different guys that are in that 190 kind of build and have true pass game chops. For everybody out there that's not aware about Brashard Smith's game, was a slot wide receiver at the U for 2 years, went to SMU his final year. That dude legit, line his ass up in the slot, line up him on the outside. He can run routes, and he is a true pass game weapon. So, if he hits the ground running, if a team drafts him in round 4, you're talking about, there is a bunch of running backs in this class. We could play who's this year's Bucky Irving and just go the roulette wheel. There's Yarns, there's Brashard Smith, there's Jaden Blue. Pick your flavor of which guy you want to sit there and hang your hat on, because all of those guys, they can break tackles. They're all fast. They're all athletic, and they can catch passes, dude. So they go round 4, round 5 of the NFL draft. I'm still taking shots in the 3rd, 4th rounds, late in rookie drafts, because talent finds a way, dude.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And after Brashard Smith, you see Jordan James, Gunnar Helm, Tez Johnson. In between all of those names, Brashard Smith seems like an oasis here of somebody that you're definitely happy to walk away with in the 4th round, grabbing on your team. Let's just run through the 3rd round real quick, because we didn't get a chance to do that. At 301, we got Elijah Arroyo, Jalen Noel, who we talked about, RJ Harvey, who Debra won't shut up about all offseason, and rightly so. I believe he's my RB5, RB6 at the moment.
Because Harvey's my RB5, baby. Before and after the combine, my RB5.
Fantastic. Ollie Gordon at the 304, the precipitous drop of Gordon. They'll write stories about it, but oh, wait, no, they won't, because he probably won't pan out. Bashal Tootin at the 305, Harold Fannin, 306, or Strepo. Dylan Sampson, who I love. I think he's a great inside runner. Terrence Ferguson, Isaiah Bond, Martinez, Jack Besh, who I chose because, again, I think he's kind of a plug-and-play guy.
Jack Besh, why did he fall that late to you, dude? Like, why?
I think, honestly,
Jack Besh's name? Like,
I think it's the ADP. It's the ADP at this stage in the offseason. Like, Sleeper does the best they can, but at the same time, there's just not enough degenerates like us on a Wednesday afternoon, competing with each other and really just drafting to regulate the ADP here. So, Jack Besh at the 312, I love, but I did almost pick Rashard Smith because I think he's interesting. It's just going to be a matter of landing spot for a lot of these guys, and I think that will shake up. As we know, the NFL draft will shake up this third and fourth round a bit as we go forward, as we try to determine who has the best opportunity ahead of them. Into the fourth round, we have Tez Johnson, combine loser by a ton. He's off a lot of people's boards. We'll see where he ends up.
My board.
Yeah, same. Smith, James, Gunnar Helms, Savion Williams. We'll see if he's more than a special teamer in the NFL. Ty Felton. Interesting names. Yarns, of course, Raheem Sanders. We got the quarterbacks. Why not at the end of the fourth? Why not just take a shot on these guys? Even though I hate Quinn Ewers, why not? Jaden Blue at the 411, and I'm going to pick D-Bro. What are your thoughts about how the draft kind of wrapped up here?
I'm fine with it, man. There's some other guys like this is the kind of class where it's like, please, can we extend our rookie draft to round 5, round 6? Like, please. Because you went Torrey Horton, my man. I love that pick.
I had to do it.
I love that pick so much, dude.
Had to do it.
We got to talk some Torrey Horton here for a second here, man. Like, tell me what you've seen. I love that pick.
There's a lot of stink on his name. I think you just have. I think you just have the whole situation surrounding him, but certainly Torrey Horton is more than capable. Whereas I think that Ayamanor and Besh are a bit safer. I think Horton has the upside to really compete in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to develop a little bit, but I really like what he can do with the ball in his hands. And the way that I've built my team here at wide receiver heavy, I'm more than happy to get Horton. And with really no one else on the board, right? So Horton, I'm happy with the pick. At the same time, am I going to go Gadsden? Probably not. Am I going to look to a Pat Bryant or a Mullings? Probably not. Nick Nash, maybe. So Torrey Horton for me is far and away the best option left on the board. Edwards, no chance. It's Horton by a mile for me. And if I can get him at 412 in these drafts, I'm more than happy to do so.
I didn't know if you were going to do it. I'm so happy you did it. He's getting added to. I'm still updating my rookie positional primers post combine. Mm-hmm. So I just got to his film. He's getting added to my primer this week, nice. Probably today. I mean, he checks a lot of boxes, man. Like, you want to talk about like FCS receivers and stuff. Like, he's had strong yards per route run over the last few years, 3.45 over last year. And I understand the difference in competition and stuff, but like, so you go back to the film and it's like, that's it. You go back to the film and you say, what is this guy a route runner? Was he getting a lot of cheap open looks? Like, and you can kind of dice some of that stuff up, man. Like, I was out there talking about Jalen Coker and how much I loved him, and he went UDFA. And then again, we talk about talent finds a way. I think Horton, you're looking at a similar kind of guy. Like, I don't know where he's going to go in the NFL draft. He might go undrafted, but for a player that people need to be stacking on their taxi squads at the very bare minimum, or drafting him like you did at the back end of like, this is why you trade into the back end of a 4th or a 5th round of rookie drafts. So you're not playing the, how much do I have to bid on the waiver wire to get this guy on my roster? You know, you play the game that NFL teams play and you say, I'm not fighting the UDFA battle. I'm just going to draft him. So you do that in your dynasty rookie drafts, man. You stick him on a taxi squad and the guy's got good route running. He's a big galloping wide receiver. Is he a little bit stiff in the hips? Sure. Is he like overly, I don't think he plays as fast or as well as he tested. I think like for film, if you would have told me he didn't run a 40, I would have said he's probably like a 4 or 5 guy, which is fine. His play speed is fine. His hips are a little bit tight, but he's got quick enough feet to kind of help him out in that respect. So you won't see him like gear down, drop his hips real fast and stuff like that. But on hitch routes, he'll turn around and really kind of lean on his feet to help him out there. So Horton's got a lot of things to his game that I really like, man. Like he can generate yak. He's strong at the catch point, dude. Like he kind of reminds me of like a dollar store Marvin Jones, which shoot, if we get production like that out of a 4th round pick in the rookie draft, I mean, saddle up, baby. Let's go.
Fair enough. I think I'm not sure if it's the official weight, but it listed on Sleeper at least as 183. I think maybe that's turning some people off. He looks slender, man.
I thought he was in the 190s.
Yeah, so maybe the Senior Bowl measurements. But still, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Again, as we've been talking about all show long, size doesn't matter.
Yeah, 196. They're wrong. Yeah. 196.
All right, 196.
They're 13 pounds off.
Yeah, listen, as we've always liked,
that man had a full breakfast before he stepped on the scale. Okay.
So Torrey Horton, I love it at the end here. We have to talk about a few things, Debro, as we before we wrap up the draft. The first thing is Travis Hunter. We see him at the 203 in this draft in a 12-teamer. Look, I don't think we're going to know exactly how a team is going to utilize this guy. They probably want to get him in the building first, but we know that coaches have ideas. Let's say he goes somewhere like New England, somewhere where there's an obvious need at wide receiver, where maybe even the coach comes out and says, we're going to use him. What do you think? What do you think about Travis Hunter? Does he rise if we assume he's going to play more wide receiver than we assume now?
I mean, that's the big question, dude. None of us know. You know what I mean? And anybody out there posturing like they know, they're talking out their ass. Ain't none of us know, man. Like none of us know how he's going to be deployed in the NFL. And my big thing about it is the math don't math. Okay. And what I mean by that is look at the logistics of it. If you play him at full-time wide receiver, first of all, let's get this out the way. He will not play full-time snaps on the offense and defense for any NFL team. That shit's not going to happen. And if you think that's going to happen, you are really, really underrating how physically demanding it is to play in the NFL on either side of the ball, much less asking a guy to play double snaps. And seriously, you think, like, come on, I'm sorry. Like, my out of shape ass sitting on my couch is not going to sit here and scream at my TV like, Travis Hunter can play both ways. Sign him up for 90 snaps a game. Hey, what do you mean he can't do that? No, come on, dude. Like, no, I'm not saying that because that's ridiculous. So when we look at like, okay, then what's the actual path to how he's going to be deployed in the NFL? Mm-hmm. Are you really going to play a guy full-time wide receiver and then bring him on the field for a limited number of snaps at cornerback? Like, how are you constructing your depth chart and your roster for a player like that? Oh, fine, we make him a nickel corner. Is he going to play like every single play? Like, if you play a team that plays a heavy 11 personnel, then he's going to play 90 snaps that week? Like, okay, well, then he's not going to do that. So what is he, a situational player you're taking on and off the field in certain aspects? Because that makes a lot of sense for defense and continuity and getting your coverages right. Like, okay, well, that probably doesn't happen. So then what happens in his deployment in the NFL? Probably most likely what happens is he's a full-time corner. And if you want to sprinkle him in on offense, then you play him 15 to 20 snaps. You give him a heavy dose of first read targets, screens, crossers, make things easy for him. Because the other thing that people, and we get into this bubble and fantasy gamers don't like to talk about the reality of football, is also we talk about constantly, and it's real, about the jump in just your brain space and absorbing how fast the NFL game is, how much it means to absorb 2 playbooks, not even just one, and how much players not struggle, but it is difficult going from college to the NFL and absorbing a playbook and understanding in that, being where you're supposed to be at every moment of every game. Like, that matters, and having that rapport. And that, again, you think that Travis Hunter is going to have enough time every single practice, every single week, if he's playing corner at a full-time level, to get rapport with his quarterback, to absorb both playbooks, not just the defense, but the offense, and to know every single thing? Like, that is a lot to ask out of anybody. And I'm not saying the kid isn't special, but let's use common sense with some of this shit. Like, come on.
And we had Andrew Cooper Fiasco on Twitter on the show a couple weeks ago, talking more about how NFL defenses are utilizing palms and cover 9 and sets of rules on defense, right? So to further absorb all those rules, know where you need to be in an NFL offense, let alone if he gets drafted to a team with like a legitimate defensive coordinator. Right now, he's probably going to the Patriots, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But, if he goes somewhere else, it's certainly, totally agree with you. It's going to be a situation where Travis Hunter, if he does end up playing both sides and wide receiver a fair amount to the point where he's a wide receiver on that 3 on an NFL team, it's probably going to take him a couple of years to get there. Use him on defense, see if you can use him on offense, and then he'll evolve.
Well, I agree with Ryan here. If he does, like we talked about earlier, Jeremy, if he does go to the Pats, yeah, they spin up for corner. They're good there. So yeah, fine. We can project him as a full-time wide receiver. Okay, that's fine. But that's not the case for every NFL team. That's not going to be the case if he goes work in my mock. Again, I'm just dropping things here, but like I have him going to Jacksonville at 5.
There you go.
I don't think that he's going to play full-time wide receiver for Jacksonville. Yeah. I think that they need a running mate for Tyson Campbell. So, again, that is landing spot dependent. It would be team dependent. But as we sit here right now in the middle of March, we are almost a month away from the NFL draft. Nobody knows the definitive answer to that outside of saying, okay, if he is a Patriot. Patriots got a lot of other holes, bro. Like, what if Abdul Carter falls to them? What if they decide they want to go offensive tackle and everybody's favorite, pick for them that's chalk right now is Will Campbell? Okay, well, then Travis Hunter is not going to New England.
True. Very true here. And look, I want Travis Hunter as a selfish New England Patriots fan myself. But yeah, listen, we need offensive line because we have a bunch of has-beens and a couple of never have been. So let's move on. Just a couple more guys. Kyle Williams, Andrew Armstrong, any of these guys who are either these mentioned here in the chat or who appear here on the list who went undrafted, anyone that you like who we should be considering come our rookie drafts?
I mean, looking at the few different names and stuff like that, I love Jarquez Hunter. You can definitely interest me in him. He's in that same tier. Did Trevor Etienne go in this draft or not?
He did not. I don't think he.
Trevor Etienne's another name to consider. Yep. In the 3rd, 4th round. I mean, I think he's another guy that could find his way to snaps. All these quarterbacks, you can miss me with them. Don't care. Yeah, I think it's just diving a little bit deeper into the running backs of this class with a few of those names. I'm looking down my board if there's anybody else that didn't go here. Yeah, I mean, I think like that's all the running backs that really I like a ton. I could bring up Kyle Monangai, but like, dude, I just don't see there's a lot of outs for him in the NFL, man. Like where like he's not going to catch passes, he's not super athletic, then he's an early down volume guy, and it's like, I mean, if he goes round 5 of the NFL draft, which he probably does, then how great do you feel about that? So no, I think a lot of these names, I think everything kind of got picked over pretty well here. Those are the only 2 names that I can come up with that I would say, maybe I would have picked over like a Quinn Ewers or like a Rocket Sanders or something like that.
Yep. Love it. So last question I have for you, and you kind of alluded to it here, and we can, I'm going to throw it out there. You can put it down. You can shoot it right back. But rounds 5, 6, and 7 in the NFL draft, we have had 110 running backs drafted in rounds 5, 6, and 7 of the NFL draft in the last decade. Do you have a guess as to how many of those running backs out of 110 kind of, this is a very loose term, hit for fantasy, meaning they have a reasonable spot on your dynasty roster?
10.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Let's see. We'll be generous here, and we will say the number is 13. I'm going to run down those names. Some of these names we know: Tyrone Tracy, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Aaron Jones. Those are the really good names that are still in the league.
Eckler's in that list too, isn't it? Because he was a
Eckler's
UDFA.
UDFA, but yeah, if you go UDFA, you have a few.
So
more games.
I was kind of like I was thinking UDFA kind of into that too. So
for sure.
But again, I undershot. So even adding Eckler there would pump that number up
let's
more.
see. Jerome Ford, Tyler Algier. Again, we're getting loose with the hits here. Jay Ajayi, Khalil Herbert, Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round, in the 7th, Pacheco, Gaskin, Chris Carson. So what could have been. And then the UDFAs that you mentioned, we have mainly James Robinson, Austin Eckler, Gus Edwards, Philip Lindsay. There were a couple of other names, but certainly the list is short.
Good list.
It's roughly 8% of those running backs actually deserve a spot on your dynasty roster. If a running back is drafted in round 5
how many
later,
years is that, Jeremy? Is that you say the
that's
last
a decade?
10?
That's 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, so basically we're getting like one guy a year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like who are you going to put your chips in? Who's the guy for this year? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing is we're historically bad at recognizing those guys. I mean, certainly someone who's putting in a ton of hours like yourself is going to be better at that. But the average fantasy football guy who's coming into their rookie drafts and they don't know who to pick, they're going to be looking at these names and they're not going to know who to choose. So for me, my advice to most people is, look, it's really a crapshoot. It's a dart throw. But most of these guys, unless their names are Aaron Jones or Kyron Williams, most of these guys are not going to have sustained elite level success for you on your fantasy teams. They're at most kind of bye-week fill-ins here. And then you're hoping for injuries. So yeah, choose probably the athletic guy in a great situation, or maybe back off running back, go somewhere else.
Jeremy, can I put you on the spot here? Can we do something fun? Can we do something fun here?
I love it.
Okay, we just talked about, we just mathed the math, okay? And we just said basically one guy comes from the class and he could be that guy.
Yep.
You're tossing your dart on this class. Who's that guy for you? Do you want me to lead off and I give you a second to sit here and think of a name? Or do you got
a name. No, I'm going to jump in. It's Dylan Sampson. It's Dylan Sampson.
Right. You think he goes round 5 or later?
Oh, who goes round 5 or later?
Yeah. Who goes round 5? Who makes that list? Who's the guy that comes out of this class that he's the Austin Eckler? He's the guy that we're adding to this 13 total. It becomes 14 after this year. Who's that guy for you?
Yeah, I'm going to I could say Brashard Smith. I am going to go Dylan Sampson. I think he probably ends up going round 5. I think the production for the passing game, it certainly wasn't there. In the combine, he showed that he had enough receiving chops, but he's not super fluid in that range. But he's such a damn good inside runner. I think there's a lot of helmet scouting going on in fantasy football, and you want to say he's Jalen Wright. But at the same time, this guy
he's not Jalen Wright. Let's get out of that. No, he is not.
Of course not. But we also have this mystique of the Tennessee offense inflates the Jalen Hyatts of the world and all these other guys who come out because it's system based. I think Dylan Sampson is better than that. Will he go earlier than round 5? I got to tell you, if he goes round 4, I'm probably all in on Dylan Sampson. If he goes later, I think I still am. So for me, I really like him. Brashard Smith is another one I did mention. I almost took him at the 312. Like you said, he's a bit smaller than we want him to be. But we did just see Tyrone Tracy. This is another maybe positive, but also potentially a knock against him.
I think he's fine because in the last 2-3 years, that's another thing that I've changed in my process. It's like I used to just off the top ding guys if they weren't over 200 pounds, if they weren't in that 200 to 210 range, because NFL teams told us we don't want to give you a workload. Well, guess what? Over the last few years, James Cook, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Austin Eckler, the list goes on and on, dude, of like backs that have gotten heavy workloads. And that sub 200 pound thing, we can toss that shit in the trash, man. Like it's not a thing now. Like we're seeing guys buck that trend. And that's honestly where like, I've got a long tier of guys that I love in this class between Yarns, Hunter, Jaden Blue, Trevor Etienne that are all in that build where I'm like, bro, if they get a runway, like, okay, let's go. Like that could happen, man. So I've got more optimism on those guys than maybe a lot of people do.
Yeah. And even even some veterans, DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, these guys are getting more touches than
Fair.
they ever got. Aaron Jones had the most touches of his career last year, over 300. So it's just
But I was
really
told,
this
man, like
situation where they're not concerned.
once you hit 28, you're not good anymore. And Aaron Jones
Yeah,
is rocking at age 30. I mean,
he is
RJ
good.
Harvey, like, I mean, he's, we shouldn't be drafting him anywhere based off of all this.
I love it. I love it. So listen, let's get you out of here on this. If you take a look at the board, yourself and myself excluded, what do you like here walking away with some of these other guys? From your rookie drafts, who do you think had a good draft here and a setup for success?
Outside of the Tez Johnson pick, I think who was picking out of the one spot here did a very, very good job. Just looking at the board here. Oh man, I outside again, I'm kind of poking holes in certain people's drafts, but like outside of the yours pick, I think Tay going at the 109, I think it is, going Caleb Johnson, Jaden Higgins, Terrence Ferguson. You can craft me a narrative for all those dudes. Either I'm super high on them. I mean, Caleb's still my RB2. Jaden Higgins is my wide receiver 6. So love how they started that draft. And you want to take a shot on a hyper athletic tight end, which you should be doing. And Terrence Ferguson, I mean, I'm not fighting you on it.
Yeah.
And I love your draft. I mean, I thought you crushed it. I mean, Loveland's going to get first round capital. So, I think there's a pretty healthy divide between him and Tyler Warren, as far as skill set and talent and things like that and how I'm projecting them. But Loveland, again, still tight end premium, getting him at the 112. I have no problems with that. And then I loved your other 3 receiver picks, man. Like Ellick is a stud. Jack Besh is going to get drafted higher than a lot of people think he's going to go.
Yep.
And again, we talked the good news of Torrey Horton. So I love your draft.
Fair. Appreciate that. If I'm looking at the board, I like Mike at the 106, Dynasty Dogs, FFU member, of course. Travion Henderson, a value for me at the 106. He needs to go a little bit higher, I think. Jalen Royals, we already talked about him as a value. Harold Fannin, we'll have to see. I think the jury's out. He's in that glut of tight end.
I'm worried he gets Jaheim Belled.
Tight end 10.
Oh, I'm so worried he gets Jaheim Belled.
He very well could be. But Harold Fannin, I think, is interesting. Outside of, Ferguson, I don't think you really want anyone else there besides those top 3 minus Mason Taylor. And then Ty Felton, who's an interesting guy. I just don't know how much a lot of these 4th rounders are going to find work outside of special teams. We'll see how it goes. But that's the draft here. Any final thoughts for you? How you feeling overall? Working out?
Doing good, man. I mean, loving this draft. I like how it fell. Like I wasn't anticipating going as wide receiver heavy as I did, but I think the big thing about rookie drafts this year is get guys, and right now is a wonderful time. Like if anybody's been in leagues with me, you've been seeing me like span the board, sending out trades and stuff like that. I think if you're doing the homework and you're either watching shows like Jeremy's putting out here, which is fantastic right now, and trying to get people ready, the big thing that I would tell people right now in your dynasty leagues, because we don't know, the NFL draft does not happen. We're still like, okay, where are all these players? And that uncertainty can leave people saying, okay, I don't know where I sit with certain guys. I don't know where, how my tiers are and where guys are going to be drafted at. If you look at whether you do your own personal ranks or you go to fantasypros.com and you're looking at dynasty rookie rankings and stuff, whether it's mine or the consensus, and you see, okay, I'm sitting at the 210 or I've got the 302, but I like this, 5 players up. I like that tier a little bit better. Then I guess my takeaway for people right now is tier up a few of your rookie picks if you can. Like make those early thirds into late seconds. Look at where the rookie ranks and the tiers are and the players that you like. And now all of this is going to shift and change with the NFL draft. But if the players you like, where they're ranked right now, and you're moving around the board, you can kind of put yourself in and get ahead of the competition that if a player you like we're talking about Brashard Smith, goes in the 3rd or 4th round, because it happens every year, guys get crushed, guys get elevated, and you can tier up a few of those picks, just like 5 or 6 picks. And whether that's getting rid of, a wide receiver 4 or 5 on your roster, or getting rid of a 4th round pick with a 3rd and going up from the 301 to like the 211 or the 210. Do those things right now, because if you're looking at how the board is shaking out in your mind's eye and saying, I really like this player or these 3 players, but I need to get up a few picks to make sure like I'm probably going to get them if everything works out. That's where I think the 4D chess of how people are looking at rookie drafts right now should be.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, if you want to find the Bucky Irvings, the Tyrone Tracy's, the Chase Browns, be very careful about how much weight you put into the combine and how much weight you put into draft capital. Those are big pieces of the puzzle, but they are not the only pieces of the puzzle. This is why we're here now talking about how the guys look on tape, and we're trying to put it all together to form a holistic view. Some of those guys will fall further than they should, as you mentioned, and then, try to avoid the Traylons, try to find the Buckies if you can. This has been the Fantasy Football Universe. We really appreciate you stopping by here at Adjust the Ranks. We are here all off season long doing mock drafts. Of course, we have our schedule again. I'll just flash it up. We got Kevin Coleman next week. We got a bunch of big time names coming on. Your colleague, Andrew Erickson, is either I think he's next month. I think he's coming in April.
Let's go, baby. And Fitzy was on last week. I'm following up
right.
Fitzy, which is a tough act to follow.
The Fantasy Pros have been great to me, so I appreciate you all. And then the other thing to consider is we are on YouTube, Twitter. We're all over the map. So please, please, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. We're here all off season long, and we're doing big things. We got a Discord coming out in a couple of weeks that we're firing up. Things are, we're doing our best to make moves in the industry. So appreciate you coming on, Derek Brown. If people do not know where to find your work, because of course they don't, tell them where to go.
Oh man, before I, give everybody the 411 short page of everything I'm doing and stuff, shout out to everything you're doing with the channel, YouTube, all your content and stuff, man. I think it's really easy at the end of the day for all of us to support good people that are putting out good stuff. And y'all are definitely doing that, man. I mean, with this show, you're definitely crushing it, Jeremy. So first of all, shout out to you people that are, if you're tuned into this, you're watching this back on YouTube and stuff, go hit a comment on this, whether it's good, whether it's bad. It helps every YouTube page that you love and you support in algorithms. Sub to people's stuff, like and follow their stuff, because the way that people keep putting out content that you like, you love, the way that happens is if people get support and it makes sense for them to continue doing content, not only just because they love it, but because at the end of the day, we're all taking time away from our lives, from our families. And a lot of people do this as a side piece. And it's not their full-time gig. Make it make sense for people. Support the people that you love their content. And it's really easy to do that in a lot of different ways. But everything for me, fantasypros.com, obviously. I'm in our Discord a ton, answering questions in my AMA channel, rocking with the Fantasy Pros NFL Draft Show. That is my baby. That is my love. We just had that go live, the last show, or the most latest show, I should say, with Brett Whitefield from Fantasy Points, going through the top 10 wide receivers. Next week, I'll be back with Seth, going through wide receivers 11 through 20. We got a lot of really good guests coming on still through the process. We're going to be discussing NFL draft betting. We got sleepers. We got polarizing players. Ton of awesome people going to stop by. And yeah, like I said, I'm updating all my stuff at Fantasy Pros right now. I got the positional primers. Quarterback has been updated. Running back, I tweeted out. It's my pinned tweet that's already been updated. I'm working through wide receivers, and all of this is culminating. I'm working towards my top 100. So I will have, before the NFL draft, everything goes live, and we're sitting there and I'm streaming night one on Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Before that happens, I will have my top 100 players written up on the site. That is all 100 skill players, full write-ups, comps, stats, everything for everybody to dive in, whether you're doing a 4-round rookie draft or I'm going to bring you all the way to 8 rounds with 100 players. So
love it. Absolutely love it. We're early in the off season. We are the fantasy football degenerates here, but we are here for you. So again, please like and just subscribe. Appreciate all the kind words, D-Bro, and dropping in for the mock draft. So for this guy, I'm this guy. We will see you guys next time. Appreciate it.
Adjust the Ranks is most obliged to your patronage. Should you wish to imbibe future content via your auditory and/or ocular cavities, do offer your clicks of approval and subscription.